Today, Hollywood is buzzing with fresh revelations as two major legal moments collide in a way that feels almost cinematic. Blake Lively has just faced a high-stakes deposition that sources say was anything but routine, while Laura Owens is walking into court for a case that could redefine her public image and potentially shift the balance in multiple ongoing disputes. The timing of these events is striking, and it has sent reporters, analysts, and fans into overdrive, trying to piece together what it all means. Whispers from behind closed doors suggest that Lively's deposition touched on sensitive subjects that might link to past business dealings, personal communications, and even previously unknown meetings. While no official transcript has been released, the hints dropping from those with knowledge of the session are enough to keep social media in a frenzy. Hashtags tied to both Lively and Owens are trending as people debate whether the overlap in timing is mere coincidence or part of a calculated strategy to sway attention and influence perception. Owens' court appearance today is equally charged with expectations. Her legal team is reportedly ready to unveil key evidence and testimony that they believe will fortify her position in a case that has drawn far more attention than many expected, from seasoned legal experts to casual celebrity watchers. The general consensus is clear. Both women are at a critical crossroads where every move counts and every word spoken in court or in a deposition could have lasting consequences. This is the kind of day where reputations can be reshaped, alliances tested, and the unpredictable nature of public opinion becomes as important as any ruling from the bench. The stakes are high and the drama is just beginning today. The atmosphere in Hollywood feels thick with tension as new details begin to circulate about the long-awaited deposition of Blake Lively, a session that sources close to the situation are calling both revealing and unexpectedly intense. The news has sparked endless speculation, not just among industry insiders, but across social media, where fans, analysts, and commentators are all piecing together fragments of information in an attempt to understand the full scope of what went on behind closed doors. This deposition, according to people familiar with its contents, did not simply skim the surface of ongoing legal matters, but instead delved deep into the interconnected web of relationships, deals, and past incidents that have shaped the public narrative surrounding Lively for months. The anticipation leading up to this moment has been building steadily, with whispers from court watchers and entertainment reporters suggesting that the topics discussed might extend far beyond what anyone had initially anticipated. What makes this particularly significant is that it comes at a time when Laura Owens herself is preparing to step into court today, facing her own legal hurdles in a case that has attracted a surprising amount of mainstream attention. Laura Owens, once thought to be a peripheral figure in the grander drama, has now found herself standing center stage. Her court appearance today is expected to address key claims and counterclaims that could potentially shift the momentum in several intertwined cases. It is no coincidence that the deposition of Lively and the court date of Owens are occurring in such close proximity. Many observers believe that the timing may have been strategically influenced by certain parties who stand to benefit from overlapping narratives or from shifting public attention from one case to the other. The entertainment industry thrives on perception and timing, and this situation is no exception. People familiar with legal strategy understand that the release or surfacing of certain information at a particular moment can be a calculated move designed to either strengthen a position or to undermine the confidence of opponents. While the public waits for official transcripts or court filings, the unofficial accounts coming from those who claim to have knowledge of the deposition paint a vivid picture of a session where Blake Lively was pressed on topics that range from her professional relationships to private communications to decisions made during high-pressure moments in her career. It is said that she maintained a composed exterior for much of the questioning, but there were also points where her tone shifted, noticeably as the discussion veered into areas that may not have been fully anticipated by her legal team. Insiders hint that certain questions were framed in ways that connected her directly to incidents previously thought to be unrelated to her ongoing disputes. This approach, if accurate, could signal a broader legal strategy aimed at establishing a pattern of behavior or decision-making that might influence how judges or juries interpret more recent events. Meanwhile, Laura Owens has been preparing meticulously for her court appearance today, knowing full well that public opinion can be swayed not only by the facts presented, but by the way those facts are framed and delivered. Observers expect that her legal team will lean heavily on both the strength of their evidence and the consistency of her narrative throughout the proceedings. The stakes for Owens are high, not just in terms of legal outcomes, but in how the outcome of her case could ripple through related matters, including those involving lively Hollywood legal dramas often play out like intricate chess matches, where every move is calculated with an eye toward multiple potential outcomes. The dual unfolding of Lively's deposition revelations and Owens' court date today represents a rare moment where multiple key pieces are being moved on the board, simultaneously making it difficult for outside observers to predict with any certainty which side will emerge with the upper hand. Social media commentary has been relentless in the hours since news of Lively's deposition began to leak, with hashtags related to both her and Owens trending across multiple platforms. Fans of Lively have been quick to defend her character, suggesting that any attempts to connect her to unrelated events are nothing more than tactical distractions. Her critics, on the other hand, argue that if the questions raised in the deposition hold merit, they could point to a much larger story, one that could reshape public understanding of past and present events. The reaction to Owens' impending court appearance has been similarly divided, with some seeing her as a determined figure, willing to stand her ground, while others view her as facing an uphill battle against forces with far greater influence and resources. Whatever the ultimate outcomes of these parallel proceedings, one thing is certain: the convergence of these two legal moments has created an intense spotlight that is unlikely to dim anytime soon. As journalists, legal analysts, and fans alike scour every available detail for clues to what might happen next, the industry watches with bated breath, aware that in the world of high-profile disputes, the court of public opinion can be just as consequential as the court of law. And with each passing hour, both Blake Lively and Laura Owens find themselves navigating not just legal challenges, but the ever-shifting tides of perception and reputation management that define modern celebrity life. As the day unfolds, more fragments of information about Blake Lively's deposition continue to emerge, each new detail adding another layer to an already complex situation. Some individuals close to the legal process have suggested that the questioning touched on financial transactions and contractual agreements that date back several years, raising the possibility that the current legal battle may be more deeply rooted in past business dealings than previously understood. These revelations are prompting many to revisit earlier reports and interviews in search of overlooked hints that might now take on new significance. The entertainment industry has a long memory when it comes to high-profile disputes, and it is not uncommon for old controversies to resurface when they can be tied in some way to ongoing matters. According to those familiar with the deposition, Lively was asked to clarify communications with multiple individuals, some of whom have not been publicly linked to her. In recent years, this line of questioning has fueled speculation that investigators may be attempting to map out a network of relationships and decisions that could either bolster or undermine specific legal arguments at play. Her responses reportedly ranged from direct and confident to more cautious when addressing topics that might be interpreted in multiple ways. Meanwhile, the focus on Laura Owens as she heads into court today continues to intensify. Her legal team is expected to present a series of exhibits and testimonies that they believe will strengthen her position and counter key points raised by opposing counsel. Analysts observing the case note that Owens has maintained a consistent public message about her circumstances, something that can work to her advantage in an environment where shifting narratives often lead to doubts about credibility. However, consistency alone is not always enough to sway a court, and much will depend on the tangible evidence her side can produce beyond the courtroom. The intersection of these two developments is creating ripple effects across media outlets, with some framing the stories as part of a broader commentary on accountability in the entertainment industry. Others are focusing more narrowly on the personal stakes for both women, highlighting the ways in which public perception can influence future opportunities regardless of legal outcomes for Lively. The challenge lies in navigating the scrutiny that comes with being a central figure in a high-profile deposition, without allowing the narrative to spiral into areas that could damage her professional standing. For Owens, the challenge is in confronting her legal battle head-on while managing the inevitable media narratives that will emerge from her court appearance. Social media has been particularly active in drawing parallels between the two situations, with some commentators suggesting that the timing of events may not be coincidental. There is a sense among certain analysts that the proximity of Lively's deposition to Owens' court date could be part of a larger strategic play, perhaps intended to distract from one matter while amplifying another. While there is no definitive proof of such coordination, the perception alone is enough to keep the topic alive in public discourse. As the court session for Owens gets underway, reporters are stationed outside, eager to capture any sign of how the proceedings might unfold. Early indications suggest that the courtroom will be packed with both media representatives and members of the public, drawn by the curiosity and spectacle that often accompanies high-profile legal disputes in this environment. Even small moments such as a gesture, a pause before answering a question, or a visible emotional reaction can become headline material and feed into the larger narrative for both parties involved. Legal experts observing from the outside point out that the true impact of today's events will not be immediately clear. Depositions and court appearances often plant seeds that may not bear visible fruit until weeks or months later, when filings, decisions, and additional testimony begin to connect the dots. Nevertheless, the buzz surrounding Lively and Owens today is a reminder of how intertwined legal strategy and media management have become in the modern age, where every development is instantly dissected by online communities and then reframed in the next news cycle as the hours progress. Both women remain at the center of a storm that blends legal procedure with the unpredictable currents of public opinion. Each statement made, each document entered into the record, and each observation from those present adds to the growing tapestry of speculation and analysis that is now enveloping these cases. Whether this moment marks a turning point in either matter is something only time will tell. But for now, the attention remains unwavering, and the stakes could not feel higher for those involved. Throughout the afternoon, the flow of information from inside and around the courtroom where Laura Owens is appearing continues to trickle out, painting a picture of a tense and highly scrutinized legal environment. Reporters present on site describe the air as charged with anticipation, as every move from both legal teams is met with whispers among observers. This heightened atmosphere is in part due to the overlapping public interest in the deposition of Blake Lively, which has now become the subject of round-the-clock media coverage. The juxtaposition of these two major developments has fueled a sense of drama that stretches well beyond the walls of the courthouse. Sources connected to the proceedings suggest that Owens' legal team opened with a strong presentation, laying out a sequence of events they claim supports her position in clear and deliberate terms. They reportedly brought forward documents that were both recent and archival, aiming to show a pattern that aligns with her defense strategy. It is said that these materials were not only meant to sway the judge, but also to resonate with the broader public, once they inevitably make their way into the media cycle outside the courthouse. Public reaction has been swift, with supporters of Owens gathering in small but vocal groups to express their confidence in her case, while detractors continue to raise questions about her past actions and the motivations behind her defense strategy. Meanwhile, new accounts of Lively's deposition are providing even more fodder for debate. Some insiders assert that the questioning she faced ventured into territory involving third-party communications and previously undisclosed meetings. This has sparked a new wave of speculation about whether additional individuals could soon be drawn into the spotlight as a result of what was said in the deposition. Legal analysts following both situations point out that the introduction of new names or topics in a deposition can alter the trajectory of a case in unpredictable ways, potentially prompting further subpoenas or investigative threads for Lively. This means that her legal team must now be prepared to address any follow-up actions that could stem from these revelations. At the same time, they must also work to control the narrative outside the legal sphere, ensuring that public perception does not tilt unfavorably as more details emerge. Owens, for her part, is facing the immediate pressure of her live court appearance, where each exchange between her and opposing counsel could influence the eventual outcome. Those in attendance have noted that she appeared calm and deliberate in her responses, even when confronted with challenging questions. This composure could work in her favor, as judges and juries often take note of how a witness or defendant carries themselves under pressure. However, composure alone will not guarantee a favorable result, and much will depend on the legal weight of the evidence presented throughout the day. The conversation online has been nothing short of relentless, with trending discussions dissecting the potential connections between the deposition and the court case. Some users are drawing elaborate timelines that seek to link events from years past to the present moment, suggesting a larger web of relationships and decisions that could explain the current legal battles. While it remains unclear how accurate these user-generated theories may be, the sheer volume of discourse is enough to keep the topic at the forefront of public consciousness. Media outlets are capitalizing on this engagement, producing round-the-clock coverage that blends factual reporting with speculative commentary. The result is an environment where perception and reality often become intertwined, creating challenges for both Lively and Owens as they seek to navigate the twin arenas of law and public opinion. The question that looms over both women at this point is whether the events of today will ultimately serve to strengthen their positions or complicate them further. Legal outcomes aside, the impact on their public reputations will be significant as the entertainment industry watches closely and evaluates how each handles the intense scrutiny and pressure that comes with being at the center of such high-profile proceedings. As the day comes to a close, the combined weight of Blake Lively's deposition and Laura Owens' court appearance leaves a lingering sense that the stories unfolding are far from over, while official rulings and complete transcripts have yet to emerge. The fragments of information already in circulation have set off a chain reaction of analysis, speculation, and debate that will continue to dominate headlines in the days and weeks ahead. Both women now face the challenge of moving forward under the intense glare of public and media scrutiny. Every step they take from this point will be examined for clues about their next legal and strategic moves. In many ways, this moment feels like the beginning of a larger narrative, one in which depositions, hearings, and public statements will weave together into a complex tapestry of claims, defenses, and shifting alliances for Lively. The task will be to address whatever follow-up inquiries arise from her deposition, while keeping her professional image intact for Owens. The focus will be on how the court interprets the evidence and testimony presented today, and whether it will tip the scales in her favor or set the stage for further challenges. The entertainment industry thrives on stories like these, not only because of the personalities involved, but because of the broader themes they represent about power, influence, and accountability, regardless of the eventual outcomes. The events of today have already secured a place in the ongoing conversation about celebrity legal battles and their impact on public perception. Both Lively and Owens will now have to navigate the difficult path ahead, knowing that every development will be met with both scrutiny and interpretation from an audience eager to see what happens next.